Hi. Hi. Today we are going to discuss closure properties of CFLs, that is context free languages. We are going to discuss these properties for five operations, that is union, star closure, concatenation, intersection and complementation. So what closure basically is, so if we have two languages, that is L1 and L2, and both these languages are context free languages, then if we apply any operation, let's say union, and we get the resultant L, so then if closure properties is applied on union, then L will also be a context free language. So for these five languages, closure CFLs is closed under unions, star closure and concatenation, but not closed under intersection and complementation. So now let's see the proofs for the properties for union, closure, concatenation, intersection and complementation one by one. So here is the proof that CFL is closed under union. So we have two languages. First is L1, which is generated by grammar G1, which has productions V1, T1, P1 and S1. Second, we have a language L2 generated by grammar G2, having productions V2, T2, P2 and S2. We know that both the languages L1 and L2 are context free languages. So the union of L1 and L2 will be L. So this will be generated by grammar G, which is the union of both grammars G1 and G2. So by this, we'll have productions V, which is union of V1 and V2, T, which is the union of T1 and T2, P, which is union of P1 and P2, and similarly S, which is union of S1 and S2. So the grammar for the union of both L1 and L2's grammar G1 and G2 will be called G, whose productions are V, T, P and S. So if we can represent the grammars, the union of grammar G1 and G2 as G, having productions V, T, P and S, which are union of individual productions V1, V2, T1, T2, P1, P2 and S1, S2, then we can prove that context-free languages are closed under union. Here is the proof that CFLs are closed under concatenation. So again, we have a natural language L1, which is generated by the grammar G1 and has variables V1, T1, P1 and S1. Similarly, we have a language L2 generated by the language G2, generated by the grammar G2, having variables V2, T2, P2 and S2. Both languages L1 and L2 are CFLs. So by concatenation of L1 and L2, we'll get a new language L, which is generated by the grammar G1 and G2. So the grammar G has variables V, T, P and S. So V is represented by union of V1, V2 and S, which is another non-terminal variable. So the terminal T is represented by the union of T1 and T2. Production P will be represented by union of production P1, P2 and S, which tends to the concatenation of S1 and S2. So this representation shows us that CFLs are closed under concatenation. Here is the proof that context-free languages are closed under star closure. We have a context-free language L1, which is generated by the grammar G1, having variables V1, T1, P1 and S. So the closure of L1 is L closure which is generated by the grammar G, having variables V, T, P and S. Here V is equal to V1, T is equal to T1, but the production P is represented by P1 union S, which tends to S1 S epsilon. Here it shows S tends to S1 S epsilon, which shows us the result epsilon, string epsilon, which tends to S1 epsilon. If we replace epsilon by S1S, then we get S1 S1S. So we get 2S1, S1 S1. Again, if we replace it again, we will get S1 S1 S1S. Then we will get 4 S1s, and this carries on. So this proves that context-free languages are closed under star closure. Here is the proof that context-free language is not closed under intersection. So we have a context-free language L1, which is represented by a raised to power n plus 1, b raised to power n plus 1, c raised to power n, given that n is more than or equal to 0. We have another context-free language L2, which is represented by a raised to power n, b raised to power n, c raised to power n plus k, given that both n and k are more than 0, more than or equal to 0. So if we see L intersection L2, L1 intersection L2 by the grammars of L1 and L2, which are G1 and G2, then we'll find it that it is closed under intersection. But this is not the actual case here. L1 intersection L2, that is A n plus 1, B n plus 1, C raised to power n intersection A raised to power n, B raised to power n, C raised to power n plus k, which will give us A raised to power n, B raised to power n, C raised to power n, given that n raised to power n is greater than or equal to 0. This final result shows us that L1 intersection L2 is not a context-free language, but a CSL, that is context-sensitive language. So by this, we can prove that context-free language is not closed under intersection. Here is the proof that context-free languages are not closed under complementation. Let's take an context-free language L. Then its complement will be L complement. L1, which its complementation will be L1 complement. L2, its complement will be L2 complementation. So let's consider that the complements of all L1, L2 and L will also be context-free languages. Then we have to prove that the complement union of complement L1 complement union L2 complement is also a context-free language, as we proved in earlier video that L1 union L2 complement L1 union L2 is also a context-free language L. But using De Morgan's law, we get L1 complement union L2 complement is L1 intersection L2. And just in the previous part, we proved that L1 intersection L2 is not a context-free language, but a context-sensitive language. So by this, we can prove that context-free languages are not closed under complementation.